Welcome to Be So Light. I am Priestess Makala, as well as Niana, as well as Felicia. You pick and choose, but guess what? They're already here. So, are we having fun with this energy? Are we having fun with all this energy coming in and smacking you in your forehead and waking you up and making you speak your truth? I am a truth speaker and I am 58 years old, so I have some time in on this planet. All right, let's just start there. So, what I'm about to speak about is something I went through myself, and now I'm seeing others going through it. And I've had to sit and do some counseling, some encouragement to help individuals look at what's going on, the bigger picture. Now, we're going to get metaphysical. This is a metaphysical channel in case you haven't noticed. Okay? So, one of the things about that solar eclipse, wannabe, I have to say that. I do. I have to say it. The energy became unstabilized. And some people got a lot of energy from it. Others got very emotional. Some got very tired from it. There was a lot of energy that took place with that. So when eclipse comes in, eclipse energies are all about welcome, 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 are all about change coming. Change coming on a mental level, your physical level, your emotional level, and your spiritual level. Okay? All of us are going through something within ourselves right now. Whether you're trying to find out what your soul purpose is, what you're supposed to be doing, if you're supposed to be in the job you're in, or if you should be getting out of it, or if you finally want to take a leap and do something that's really calling to your spirit to go be a part of and do, or relationships. Now, remember, I think it was last month. Was it last month or month before last? We were doing our 30-day keeping energy vibration, which is 30-day, 20-day, and then we added on, we were doing a 20-day, we added on an extra 10 days. And then that became like this extra push of energy. When you are in a sacred portal of energy with a collective group that's doing that, it becomes a very powerful manifestational energy of to be able to materialize different things within your life. If you've been blocked, to unblock yourself, to step into a higher form of healing energy for yourself. So today we're going to talk about relationships. Okay? Preferably from my point of view as an ordained minister, as a priestess, non-denominational, okay? I don't follow religious, let me put it this way. I don't follow religion curriculum that we were forced into believing, because a lot of stuff is coming undone. A lot of things that we thought we knew turns out to be a bull-faced lie. So, with that being said, I represent in divine highness when it comes to marrying people. When people want to get married, I ask you, what brought you together? Why are you getting married? If I start hearing words like, well, this person completes me and I can't see myself ever living without them. And I'm kind of got a little flags going on in the background. And I'll tell you why. Because if we go back and look at relationships that you've entered or you might be married to right now in this time, and you go back when you were married, if you've been in a marriage from 10, 15, 20 years, okay, 20 years up to now, and all of a sudden things are starting to look a little rinky dinky. The fire is no longer a fire. The passion is not there. You seem to be arguing over money and who's doing what and arguing over household stuff. That's nonsense, okay? And there's this silent ship that comes in the middle of the night that separates you. And this energy has been building because some people don't want to talk about what's really going on. Or if they do talk about it, it's all about how they can deflect off of themselves and gaslight their partner. We're going to get into it tonight. So I'm going to put a disclaimer. Okay? I'm going to put a disclaimer. If you are that sensitive and you cannot handle truth, this is not the channel for you. Please go to a false light channel that can feed your ego so you never take responsibility for anything. Go there. If you want to learn how to heal something, how to step into accountability and recognition of something that's going on, and you still very much so love this person that you're with, and you want to figure out a solution, then welcome to your divine curriculum. Welcome to your healing. Welcome to reflecting on what is going on in the relationship. So let me tell you like this. I'm going to get the elephants out of the room first. If you are an addictive personality and you like to gamble, you like to lie, you do drinking, you do drugs, you are physically, verbally abusive in a relationship, you're about to get a big old dose of wake the hell up. What the fuck are you doing? That's where we're going. So, like I said, I walked this. I went through this. And my ex-husband was the best damn teacher in the world. He was so effing good at what he did. He made Jesus look like he walked beyond the water. Okay? He was that believable in everything he did. So when it comes to stuff like this with relationship stuff, yeah, I got your 411. All right, so when we were talking in the Gene Key, remember when I told you there's this section called Gene Key number 55, all right? And it's called the Dragonfly's Dream. And this one is where it sets up the whole intentional energy of what our evolution of ourselves of moving into higher vibration ascension process is going to be like, and what is required on the 5th and 6th and 7th dimension and 8th and 9th, give or take a 2 in between. Okay, so one of the things that was going to be an adjustment as we move into the higher frequency was relationships. So if you got married 20 years ago, 18 years, 15, 12 years ago, 16 years ago, your relationship, how's it doing right now? Did you get married for the right reasons? Because if you're standing at a crossroads right now and it has gotten really weird and you've noticed that the respect has gone out the door, the love has gone out the door, you're arguing all the time. There's a lot of blame, and guilting and gaslighting someone because the one partner doesn't want to take accountability for their wounds. That's coming up. Now, this full moon that we just had, a lot of astrologers were putting it out there and warning all of you, saying, okay, be aware that this junction, Scorpio, I think it was Uranus, energy was going to be all about amplified stuff. So whatever you're dealing with, emotionally, it's going to be amplified. Not to mention that the solar eclipse is on top of it. Okay? So, in Gene Key number 55, in that section, it says the marriage of the sacred couple. Now, I need to get my specs because I want to be able to read it, not be squinting, doing all the things that comes along with you got to look at your words and stuff. And we're going to jump into it because I'm going to tell you something. If you're in an abusive relationship right now and someone is being threatening, if you don't do this, you don't act like this, I want a divorce. Call him out. Because if the divorce word comes out of your mouth and you're using it to manipulate an outcome from your partner, call him out. If you are trying to divorce your individual and you're not willing to go do the work to heal, if there's still love there, okay, here's the thing. If you still love this person and you're just acting out because you need to go sit in a sandbox and have your little temper tantrum, okay, no problem. We got it. You're having a bad day. But when that D word comes out of your mouth and you threaten your partner with it, first of all, let's look at this. If your partner has not committed any kind of adultery, where they were sleeping around and violated the sanctuary of the marriage, to warrant you to say that out of your mouth, and you're just saying it because you're pissed off that things aren't organized the way you want, or it doesn't feel right, or whatever, or you're not getting what you want like you used to, things are different, it's time to talk. Okay? Nobody should be threatening anybody with divorce in a relationship unless both parties know that they've done everything that they can. They went to marriage counseling, they went to their own individual counseling to take care of their wounds, to work on that, and then to be able to say, okay, let's work on our stuff. Let's work on what's happening. Let's work on taking care of ourselves. Let's heal this. I have wounds from the past. I have wounds that are dealing with my mother or my father, and I see it's playing out here, and we got children involved. I don't want what we're doing imprinting on our children, and then they're going to continue it. You see how I'm saying this? Because if this is happening in your relationship right now, you need to listen up. Okay? So, first of all, let's get rid of the gaslighting. You shouldn't be coming into your relationship with your partner saying, if you don't do this and this and this, I want a divorce. What is that bullshit? Sounds like a temper tantrum to me. Sounds like manipulation to me. Okay, so let's just say you say that to this individual, and this individual calls you out on it. The one that says the divorce word, and if you really mean it, guess what? Take your ass down and go get the divorce papers and present it. If you really mean it. If you really want to be out of the relationship, you should go make that step and go get the papers. Don't be pushing it off on the person that you're gaslighting and threatening to go do it, to go get it all set up. If you are the one that's spouting off at the mouth about doing it, then you need to be the one to go get it. That's how that is. I don't think it's okay when somebody does something like that to someone. Okay? So, listen up about this. No. Don't worry about me. I'm good. I talk very passionate about when I'm jumping into something because I went through this. And I'm watching other people that I know go through this. Just like all of a sudden. Okay? Here's the thing I want you to know. If you really have tried everything to heal and you are still not feeling that connection with that individual, and both of you come to the understanding that is not going to work, I totally get this. Both of you come to an understanding. If you came to an understanding to say I do to each other, you both need to come to an understanding to undo each other. Okay? Let me say that again. If you came to an understanding to come together to I do each other, then you both need to come together in an understanding to undo each other. Okay? So if you're going to undo your vows to each other, do it in a good way. That means you did everything to try to rectify the relationship. Okay? That's what I'm saying here. So what's required as we move up on this higher vibration is the sacred union relationship. That means each person has worked on their wounds, their traumas, and they have healed those in a way where you get into a relationship with someone, you're not expecting them to fix you or to be the completion to you. You want a divine union where it's a heart-to-heart connection and you walk with each other in that form. There is no rescuing, fixing, none of that, because you're already in your divine sovereign being energy. Okay? When we come into relationships where people are wounded and they're stuck in the past from something that happened when they were growing up, and then they're with an individual that they claim they love, this is their partner, their husband or their wife, and then they get triggered by something that the husband or the wife does that brings them back to something in their family growing up, that needs to be healed. This is not where you get to go blame your partner or gaslight them. You know, this is not that part. So when people get upset in relationships and they spout off and they use this behavior and use this pattern, they do it over and over and over to the partner, and the partner takes it in, and this partner says, okay, let me work on this so it doesn't make you upset anymore, and Okay, I'll do the meals like this, or I'll make sure the house is cleaned up, or I make sure that I'm ready on time for this, or if I start projects and stuff, I don't leave them all over the place and then you're walking through all my projects and stuff like that. Or if I'm leaving a mess in the garage and I got my car parts strawed out all over the place and you try to go out there to go get your bike and you tripped over something and hurt yourself because I didn't get everything organized. And okay. But if you stuff that down and you don't talk about it, and then you have a major blow up, and you take it out on the one that you said, I do. Two. You said I do to this person for richer, for poorer, in sickness and in health, until you can no longer exist in life form with each other if one of you should cross over at the same time or however you depart. Marriage is about that give and take. It's about unity. It's the dance of the eagles. It's the dance of how they soar through the air together. It's the dance. All relationships is about the dance. And in case you haven't noticed, whoever you're married to or whatever relationship you're currently in right now is mirroring back to you what you need to work on. Remember, we signed up for these individuals to come into our life to teach us about ourselves at a certain timeline. We were going to have this experience with this individual. Okay? It is a soul contract. So, here's the thing. When you are done with the repeat experience of the pattern of the situation that keeps showing up in the relationship, whether it be verbal abusiveness, physical abuse, a person not helping out, and one person's doing all the work, and that person's staying home and playing video games while you're out stressing, working 9 to 5, trying to make sure there's enough money to afford gas, food, pay all the bills, and the other partner is not doing their part. It's an imbalance there, which brings about not wanting to be together anymore. Most people break apart from, it's usually money, number one thing that gets in the way. If there's babies that come in and the body of the female has changed, and that individual partner says, oh, they're not the same like they used to be, they let themselves go. No, honey, they're tired. 9 months is a long time to carry a child in your belly, and then you got to try to push it out. They're tired. When you have that type of energy, if there is no healing, no clearing of that, it sits and it keeps bubbling until you have a final blowout. Then the next thing you know, it's match off time. It's time to rumble. Now we got to fight. Now we're going to fight each other over what we're doing, if we're going to stay together or we're not going to stay together. Now, some relationships people should not be together in. When they are toxic relationships, calling each other names, lying to each other, manipulating each other, being very non-divine to each other. That's toxic. Hurtfulness. And then what happens? When you do break apart and you finally get a divorce and you finally walk away, if neither one of you worked on anything, guess what? You're going to go ahead and attract another person. Might not be on the same level, might look a little different, but the same lesson's going to be there. This is where you get the people that divorce and they get married 4 and 5 times. Because it's always the other person's fault. There's something that they're doing. I can't find the right person. What are you not working on in yourself? Start there. What are you afraid of to look at in yourself? What pain are you carrying within yourself? What's that pain? What's that thing that happened when you were growing up and you're still harboring it? And then it gets triggered in the relationships. But you never really talk about it. You never bring it up. You wait until you get to danger, explosion. I'm going to explode now. Before you can just talk about it, just without explosion. When relationships start breaking apart in this way, this is where we have to look at, okay, did you outgrow each other? I watched a couple, I'll never forget this. They were high school sweethearts. They met in junior high, fell in love, boyfriend, girlfriend. They got together in high school. They were boyfriend, girlfriend. She was sorority. He was head of the football team. It was all this goody stuff. I mean, everything. They get out, they graduate, they got married, had their first child, high school sweethearts. Listen to the terminology. High school sweethearts. They manifested their relationship in that time of that energy. And then as you evolve spiritually, like all of us are going through right now, as you evolve and you get higher in your frequency and you start realizing, oh, this is not what I want to be doing in my life, or something doesn't feel right, it's not matching, it's not fitting anymore. Then this is where you sit back and you say to yourself and you're like, this is not working. Now, when a relationship hits this point, and I'm talking about where you're not running for your life, when someone's been abusive to you and they're physically hurting you, that you have to get out of that. That's where it's unsafe. Okay? That's when it's unsafe. I'm talking about when you tried everything and it has come undone. You probably look at each other as maybe just being good friends now. Like, you've outgrown each other. Okay? And that's something that can happen over the years. You outgrown each other. Or somebody's looking for something more support, more love, more nurturing, more understanding. Someone, when you're talking to them, they actually connect with you and they actually get what you're saying. They're not sitting there across the table on their cell phone saying, yeah, honey, uh-huh. Oh, that's great. I got to take this business call. Hold on. Or, oh, honey, I got to go. I got this meeting. That's great. Let's try to get together for the weekend. Let's plan a trip and go away. There's so much outside stuff that interferes in our relationships now. That's our distractions. So we never really get to that part of talking to each other and healing things. It becomes this distraction and avoidancy. Maybe not now. We'll talk about it later. We'll talk about it later. Oh, now we got to get into bed with the elephant in the room of what you're upset about. Oh, but then we'll become passive aggressive. Here we go. We'll start doing that because we didn't talk about the situation and take care of it before going to the sacred space of the bed. You bring it into the room, into the bed. Now you're sleeping with it. So, one of the things I want to invite each and every one of you to do, if you are in this situation at this current moment, first of all, I want you to look how long you've been married. Do you still love the person? Do you still love them? No matter what, you still love them. And I'm not talking about toxic relationship. I'm not talking about abusiveness. You're staying in it because this is all you know. I'm not talking about that. You know it's toxic. You need to be exiting. Both of you need to get therapy and get some healing done because it's not good. And if children are involved, we don't need the children being imprinted on with that energy. And then they're going to go out and do the same thing. Have the same type of energy because what? You're the role model. They learned it from you. So, if you still love the person and you're just a little hot around the collar and you said something that was not very divine, is it too much to ask for you to go claim that energy and correct it with the person that you hurt when you said it? Take accountability and responsibility for your part. And the other partner, what was the triggering factor? What was the part that you played? It takes two to tango. It takes two to be married. And it's not just one person holding the whole marriage together. That's not why you came together. So, if you still love the person, is this relationship still worth fighting for? And if you both agree to yes, then stop your shenanigans. Sit down and get everything out on the table. Have a mediator there to help if you need to go see your medicine person, your healing people. Do that so that you can heal what's coming up. Because a lot of stuff for all of us, whether you're with someone or not, is coming up right now. I'm inviting you to just, instead of deflecting, reflect on you. What is this person showing you about yourself? A lot of times when things are happening in relationship, it's all about, do you want to be treated like this? Do you want to be disrespected? Oh, okay. This person just called you this name and cussed you out and said these horrible things to you. But you say, oh, this person's just having a bad day. Mm-mm. No. Do you see what I'm saying? It comes to a place where, as we all are evolving, whether you know it or not, and changing, there comes a time when you have to look at your stuff and claim it and heal it and stop pushing it off on the other person. That is their fault. That you decided to act out or say things that were hurtful and threaten people with the divorce word. You know what my ex was really good at? He was really good at lying. He was really good at that. And then he was really good at, if you ever leave me or you try to leave me, I will find you and make you pay. I'm like, why? He said, because I love you that much. I said, that doesn't sound like love. Do you hear yourself? If you love someone, you wouldn't be talking like that to me. You wouldn't say that. That's not love. Well, I've just had a bad childhood growing up. Oh, okay, here we go. What's been unresolved? What didn't get taken care of? What's the wound? Trick of the trade here. When you're in relationships, women, find out how your men were with their mothers. If their mothers were living, everything was good. What was their relationship like with their mom? Find that out. Because that tells you a lot of times. If they grew up hating their mom, hating things about their moms, and they stuffed it all in, and you do anything that triggers that, it brings it all back up again. And they're living on that timeline. This is why all of us have to do the shadow work. You have to get in there now. There's no more excuses. You don't get to be the victim. You don't get to blame it off on your partner. That stops. Because as we move into the marriage of the sacred couple, this is the outline of what it's supposed to look like. Because the sacred couples have a part on the 5th and 6th and 7th dimension. They anchor in the divine love, unity. The divine union of love is the compassion, unconditional love between the divine hearts of each other. That signifies as one sacred divine union. You move in sync with each other. You move in that love frequency. And if something falls out of balance, it is quickly taken care of without it festering into a cyst or a boil, getting underneath the skin. So, with the first relationship experience, dual enlightenment, we will know that the deepest wound of all has finally been healed. The wound symbolized by the division of the fall of Adam and Eve. The sacred marriage will have an unbelievable energy field around them. In fact, they will be at the core of the whole new communities. Such experiences will herald the end of sexuality as we know it today, because the same genetic force that repels the sexes is the force responsible for mating. In other words, the human sexual force will gradually be sublimated into creativity and higher consciousness. Over time, this means that the population of our planet will go through a steady and consistent decline in those patterns. So it is imperative that the ones who step into that higher frequency and they represent that and they come together in that union, they anchor that energy. They represent that vibration. So there's this other part of it. It comes in and it says the ancient symbol for 55 Gene Key, the cup of abundance or the sacred chalice. At the shadow level of consciousness, this cup is never full. One side of the relationship is always pulling and the other pushing, one needing and the other rejecting. This situation is caused because of the human tendency to blame, which creates a constant dramatic in the relationship whereby both partners drain each other. So when we're fighting and we're not healing, it becomes draining. Nothing gets resolved. Okay? So here's the thing. Right now, because of all the different planetary alignments, the energy is sky high. Your stuff is getting pushed up. Do you really mean it when you say you want a divorce? Did you talk about it? Did you go get counseling? Did both of you go look and see what the problem is? Did you have a mediator sit to see what's going on? Did you go meet up with a marriage counselor and sit and talk? Or did you just expect the partner that you're deflecting towards or acting out with to go do it all? Because you're not looking at yourself as a part of the whole. You're deflecting it. Oh, well, you go fix yourself. You go get counseling and stuff. Let me know when you're done. That kind of stuff. And I say that because a lot of times it's always about pushing, but I'm going to say it again. It took two of you to stand before each other and say, I do. What makes you think that it's not going to take two of you to fight for it? What makes you think it's not going to take two of you to heal it? What makes you think that it's not going to take the both of you to look at what's going on and to be authentic and to be true to each other enough to say, let's go heal it. And if it doesn't heal, then we come as far as we need to come in this experience. Do you know what I said to my ex when I found out? Because I already dreamt about he was having an affair, which was like, what? And then I asked him, he says, oh, no, I would never do that. Blah, blah, blah. You're crazy. You're always thinking I would do something like that. Okay, all right. Why am I dreaming about this woman? I do have the gift, you know. So we're sitting at the table. It's a longer story. I talked about it before, how I found out what he was doing. We were having steak, green beans, and I think scalloped potatoes. He was sitting at his end of the table, I was sitting at mine. And I asked him, I said, I'm going to ask you something. I need you to be really honest with me. Are you having an affair? Are you seeing someone? Because I am not willing to be sharing you. I am the queen of my castle here. And I'm not okay with someone else creeping through the door. And if you are doing it, be man enough to state it. So then he looks at me and he says, cutting his steak. And he puts it in his mouth and he goes, yeah. Puts his plate down. Yeah. I haven't done anything with her. I just kissed her. But it's somebody at the job. Now, in my mind at that time, and this was in the year 2000, I'm sitting in my chair. There was a rage that came up inside of me. And that rage was quick. Never felt it before. Not like that. It just came up. I had my steak knife in my hand. And I literally was trying to get out of my chair, to get up, to leap across the table so I can undo him. And I'm like, trying to get out of my chair. And I look off to the side and I see these angel wings and the hands on my shoulders holding me, saying, stop. Change is upon you. Breathe. Put the knife down. I put the knife down. And I hear her say these words. And the hands are still holding on me like this. And I'm trying. Say these words. Well, thank you for being honest. I see that this relationship that we have both been in has reached its peak of experience. I'd like to thank you for this experience of allowing me to see myself and what I have experienced with you, to know what my self-worth is. I think after everything that we've been through, and we tried to do the therapy and you didn't want to really do it, and you've made your decisions, I think this journey, this soul partnership has come to an end. We need to go ahead and start our process to undo the partnership. And he sits there and he's like, what are you saying? You want to go ahead and get a divorce? I'm like, well, there's no sense in staying in a relationship. You have been out shopping and you're testing out other merchandise. And I, myself, am not competing with anything. And I get up. I said, I think I'm done with dinner. I said, do you have the extra money that I need to take over to Deb so I can go give that to her, that you borrowed from her? Oh, yeah. I said, give that to me. I'm going to go drive over and do that. He goes, are you all right? I said, yeah, our relationship's done. This soul contract is done. It's over. I said, we have been at this for many lifetimes, trying to heal for many lifetimes. We have gotten as far as we can. And in this lifetime, you were supposed to come into the light and do your work. And you have decided not to do that. This contract is now voided. We never have to come back together again to do this because I'm claiming it. So right now. He goes, okay. I get in a car. I drive over to my friend's house. And she had already called me earlier and said, I feel like something is in the air with you and your hubby, and stuff is not feeling right. The cards aren't looking good. And I said, oh, don't worry. Whatever's going to happen is going to happen. It's going to come up. So I give her the money, and I'm standing in the doorway, and I give it to her. And I said, here's the money. By the way, we're getting a divorce. And I just went, and it's all over with now. And I took a breath and had a full-on asthma attack right at the door. I fell into her doorway, into her hands, and I turned completely gray. My spirit of a heartbreak just went boom. And she panicked. I'm laying there, my eyes are open. I'm like, the love of my life just hurt me so deeply. And she's on the phone calling our medicine team and get her in the bathtub, put her in water, and it'll bring her spirit back into her body. Because if she detaches from the cord, she's going to be gone. So here she is taking me in my clothes, putting me in a tub of water, calling me back. And she was older than me, and she was like an elder. And she says, I've been where you are. You will heal from this. This is a change that you're going to walk through. You're going to make it through this. But this is not your day to just depart from your body. So, this is why I say, is it worth fighting for? Because if it's abusive, yes, get out of it. I got out of it because he was physically and verbally abusive to me in our last year of marriage. The day he went to work, I packed up all that I could take with me. He knew something was going home. He decided to come home early from work and caught me as I was pulling down the back end of the U-Haul truck door. Says, you were packing? I said, yeah. Have a nice life. I'm not staying with someone who disrespects me that way. I said I do to you. I didn't say I do to her too. You. And I left. And here I am today, talking to many of you, helping to heal those who are in destructive things, helping those to save their relationship, to help heal those wounds. And I'm telling you right now, if you're sitting in that, reflect. It's okay to look at what is triggering you in the relationship. Did you guys sit down and talk? Did you get some healing time together? Because sometimes we get so distracted we don't take the time to heal. Do it. Fight for it if you still love each other. There's just an out of balance misunderstanding going on. It doesn't have to end. But if you've outgrown each other, it's become toxic, you're not talking to each other anymore, there's no saving you, you don't want to work on it anymore, it's pretty much over, then exit out of it, undo it in a good way, knowing that this was an experience And what did you learn from it? So that you don't replicate this in another relationship. Because if you didn't get the lesson, you're going to call it back in. And it's going to be a different person. Different whole look, but it's going to be the same situation. You got to get the lesson. And the lesson a lot of times is, what do you allow yourself to deserve? Do you feel worthy of love? Do you feel worthy of who you are? Do you feel that you need to be respected? You need to be listened to when you're talking and heard? What's missing in the relationship? What's happening? That's where you start. Not pointing fingers and guilting and you're not doing that. Don't do that. But look, what's your part in it? And then ask your partner, what's their part in it? What's both of your parts in it? Takes two to dance. You can't blame it all on one person because it took two to get married. All right? So I'm going to end it there because it is a lot to take in, and it's a lot that can make you sit down and really say, damn, I got to think about this. Don't go rattling off that D word real fast. And if you do have to get a divorce, I'm going to tell you like this. A lot of people think when you get a divorce, you failed the marriage. Oh, I failed my marriage. I got a divorce. I'm a divorcee. Did you fail? Or did you learn? Who said there was a grade of passing? What, the longer you stay with someone, the better your marriage is? There's just some people who come together, they get married, and they stay together until they both are not breathing anymore. They loved each other that much, no matter what. They stayed together. How many people do you know have been married for 58 years, 60 years? How many people do you know? These are people that went through it in their marriage. They had to grow. They had to understand. They had to heal. And they did it all within the marriage. That's why they're still together. How many people do you know right now that's been married 50, 60, 70, 80 years? How many? And then how many people do you know got married within a year? And they got divorced within a year? How many people you know got a divorce in 2 years, 3 years? What's the difference? And how many people you know are constantly getting married over and over and over and over and over and over and over? Like it's shopping in a candy store. Oh, well, this didn't work out. Let me get married to this one. Oh, that didn't work out. Let me get married to this one. Still looking for the divine connection, their perfect union partner. So, that's my take on marriage. Do your part. Do your healing. If there's something coming up right now, it's because there's a lot of freaking energy on us right now. And yeah, a lot of your shit's going to come up. That's been hiding in the background. You need to update your malware. There you go. You want to get that out. But that doesn't mean you attack each other. That doesn't mean you take it out on each other. Marriage is not about that. It's not about hurting each other. It's not name calling. It's not betrayal. It's not all that stuff. People do that, act out, because this is the part of them that didn't get healed. It didn't get healed. Okay? So, those of you that came in when I was talking, I get really passionate about things when I'm talking about, but when I'm talking about marriage things and relationship stuff, abuse in relationships, I've been there. I have been there. I've been there. I've seen destructions in relationship where someone did something and that person couldn't take it and they ended themselves. That was horrible. And then that person for years kept blaming and reliving it over and over and over because of mistake. Here's the thing. When you think that you're never going to get caught when you're doing something, you really don't understand the universe. The universe will bring it to that person because the universe knows that these two are in an experience together and the lessons have to be learned. And a lot of times in relationship, it's about your self-worth. What will you put up with? What will you not put up with? And the minute when you allow a person to be rude to you, to call you names, to hurt you in any way, shape, or form, once they do it the first time, they'll do it again. And they'll do it again. That's the toxicity part of a relationship. But like I said, if you're in a relationship and things have kind of got a little catawampic and you're not communicating good like you used to and you're not feeling like lovey-dovey, supportive people, what are you out of balance with? Because sometimes you might just need to turn that phone off. You might need to take that TV and turn it off and go outside and sit in nature and talk. And allow yourself to express. Sometimes you might need to go say, hey, I got to go on a fishing trip with the guys, or the girls need to say, I got to go on a women's retreat. Because back in the day, in tribal time, we used to go. Women go do medicine together. Men would go do medicine together. And they would both be in that unity of medicine. Then when they come back together, they were strong. Back in those times, we had more elders to talk to. We didn't have Google. We didn't have Bing. We didn't have YouTube. We had elders, the grandmothers, the grandfathers that would come and sit with us and talk to us. We had them. We had them come in. They would be with you when you get pregnant and have the baby. The grandmothers come in. We had that support. We had the unity of family. And it's not always about blood family. Family is people who get you, who are there with you through thick and thin, your ups and your downs. That's family. Not a color thing, it's not a religion thing, it's a human thing. That's family. So, we don't have that. We have devices where we're looking at things, but we're not looking at each other. So, take this time and reflect. If you're going through this right now, calm down, because we got a lot of energy we're moving through. You might not really meant what you said earlier. Calm down and be the upright person to apologize for the energy of what you threw at your partner. And whatever your partner threw at you, that partner needs to apologize too. Remember what I said about the power of apologies. It helps to heal and wipe that out when you apologize. You're not going to say, I'm sorry. You're going to say, I apologize for how that made you feel, or I apologize for what I said to you. When you say, I apologize to someone, it shows ownership. It shows responsibility. It shows accountability. When you apologize. Okay. All right, lovelies. I did give a disclaimer before I started on this. Some of you came in, thought I was having my moment. No. But I really just want everyone to do their part. Marriage is a beautiful, sacred, divinity type of thing between two people. Unity of the heart. When you have the person that you love and you love each other and you keep that love strong and sacred, that means you're not going to let something come into your castle and try to sneak up on the throne and rule over you. All right? So it's all about protect your love. And I gotta say this. There are some men, I'm going to say some, that are not quite men. They are practicing being men because they haven't mastered how to be the man. And that means there's a lot of wounds within that person of what they're dealing with. Okay? So, with that being said, notice I said some. Don't get all twisted and thinking I'm just talking bad on men. I am not. I love you, men. I adore all of you. And here's the thing. Men in my eyes are warriors. I'm queen. I'm always looking for the warrior to be there. Aren't you queens always looking for that? I love my warriors. My warriors are always out there defending and protecting their families, their women, and their children, and their communities. They are the divine warriors, which means they would never hurt the woman. They would honor her because she's the life bringer. The divine warriors, I love you because that's what you represent. We are calling for you. We're calling for you to come and be. Just come stand with us. Come represent that. You are not your desk job, your degrees, your car, your gaming boards, or what have you. You're not that. The divine warrior, you are. Stand and rise in that. then we won't have these type of discussions, would we? Nope. All right. On that note, I will see you tomorrow. Bye.